Hi students, welcome to Sunil's tutorial. I'm Sunil Mirwani and today we'll be doing this chapter called as synthetic fibers. Now first of all, what do we understand by fibers? Let's define fibers, right? Now, how do I define fibers? A fiber is a long, thin filament. A fiber is a long, thin filament of natural or synthetic material which can be woven or spun into a fabric. That is what is a fiber. Now, when we talk about fibers, this was fibers. So any long thin filament with which I can make cloth, that would be called as fiber. Okay. Now, how do I classify fibers? Fibers can be classified into two categories: natural fibers and artificial fibers. When we talk about fibers, the first is natural fibers. What are natural fibers? These are those fibers that are obtained naturally from plants or animals, right? Obtained naturally from plants or animals, right? Now, when we talk about natural fibers, since they can be obtained from plant and animal, they are further classified into vegetable fibers and animal fibers. Right? What are vegetable fibers? These are fibers that are obtained from naturally occurring vegetable source. Obtained from naturally occurring vegetable source. Fine. Example, cotton. What are animal fibers? These are ones which are obtained from animal source. Obtained from animal source. Example, wool. Right? So these are natural fibers which can be of vegetable source or could be of animal source. Now, besides this, you have artificial fibers. Right? What are artificial fibers? These are man-made fibers obtained by synthetic or semi-synthetic processes. These are man-made fibers obtained by synthetic or semi-synthetic processes. Right? Artificial fibers. Artificial fibers are further classified. Artificial fibers are further classified into two types. That is regenerated fibers and artificial fibers. And artificial fibers. What do we understand by regenerated fibers? Regenerated fibers, these are the ones which are obtained from cellulose by chemical treatment. So the main component is cellulose, obtained from cellulose by chemical treatment. Right? They are nothing but they are pre-treated cellulose. After chemical treatment, cellulose material regenerates with a silky appearance, superior quality, luster and greater strength. For example, all forms of rayon, right? So these are obtained from cellulose by chemical treatment. They are nothing but they are pre-treated cellulose, right? And after treatment, once I finish my treatment of cellulose, the material regenerates, or the material regenerates with silky appearance, right? Example, all forms of rayon, that is acetate rayon, viscose rayon, and all forms of rayon are regenerated fibers. Artificial fibers, now these are man-made fibers obtained by chemical process known as polymerization, right? These are artificial fibers, are man-made fibers obtained by polymerization. Fine. Now, the process by which monomers can be converted into polymers is called as polymerization. So in this, it involves joining a large number of fundamental units with the help of covalent bonds. Consists of large number of fundamental units joined by covalent bonds. So that's your entire classification of fibers. Fine, do we get this in here? Now let us see preparation of fibers. Let us see preparation of fibers. Now in preparation of fibers, the first one that we are going to see is nylon 6,6. Preparation of fibers. The first one that we are going to see is nylon 66. Right? Now, let's see this. What is the starting compound? What is nylon 66 made up of? What are the chemicals you need to make nylon 66? Starting compound. It is made up of two chemicals. It is made up of adipic acid and hexamethylene diamine. So it is made up of adipic acid. It is made up of adipic acid. Now, adipic acid is molecular formula HOOC, acid, right? You have two molecules of acid. This is 1 and 2. You have two functional groups, COOH, right? And which is then joined by a methyl group, CH2, 4 molecules of methyl group. So acid on one side, functional group of acid on one side, functional group of acid on the other side, and methyl group in center. That is adipic acid. And the second compound that you need is hexamethylene diamine. Hexamethylene diamine. Right? Now, hexamethylene. Methylene is CH2,6. This is your hexamethylene. Hexa 6 methylene CH2. Diamine. That means I need two amine groups. Amine is nothing but NH2. Right? And you have H2N. This is hexamethylene diamine. So these are the two compounds that are used for preparation of nylon 66. Right? Preparation. How do I prepare it? The aqueous solution of adipic acid and hexamethylene diamine is heated to 373 Kelvin. Right? So what we are going to do is we are going to take adipic acid. Adipic acid is acid, HCOO. So we'll take this as HO C. This is HCOO or COH. Either way you write it, right? CH2 COOH. This is your adipic acid. We will take n number of molecules of adipic acid. Right? And react it with n number of molecules of hexamethylene diamine. Amine, methylene, hexadiamine. So we are going to react it with hexamethylene diamine. Right? So when you have this, you have addition reaction taking place. The two molecules, the n number of two molecules will add together at 373 Kelvin. Will add together at 373 Kelvin. So in that case, you would have O, H molecule is gone, O, C, O, CH2, 4, C, O, O, hydrogen molecule goes from here to give you the two hydrogen molecules which are lost. One hydrogen goes with one amine, the other hydrogen goes with the other amine. So the hydrogen molecule that was lost here will react with this NH2 to give you NH3, which will be in ionic form, CH2, 6 and NH3. Very simple guys, I've written both the things together. I've removed one H from here, one H from here, I've added it to the amine groups. Right? Now this particular salt is called as the nylon salt, or this is also called as hexamethylene diammonium adipate. Hexamethylene diammonium adipate. Why so? Hexamethylene, this is your hexamethylene. These are your two ammonia, and you have those two acid groups, that's your adipate. Fine, do we get this in here? Now, this particular nylon salt, water is evaporated carefully from the nylon salt solution and some acetic acid is added to prevent polymerization at this stage. Now, this particular salt is concentrated in an inert atmosphere of nitrogen at 553 Kelvin for 3 hours. Right? So this is the first step of this. Second step, nylon salt. This is your acid, CH2, this is your adipate, this is ammonium, hexamethylene, ammonium. Right? This is heated, n number of such molecules, n number of such molecules are heated at 553 Kelvin, in an inert atmosphere of nitrogen. Now in this, dehydration takes place, you have water molecules removed. So first of all you will remove water molecules, so 2NH2O. Right? Now water molecules are removed, that means I have 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen gone, right, for a water molecule. So 1 oxygen is going to go from here. So in that case this will become CO, CH2, 4, CO. Guys, see this. This is 2O. That means I need to have 2 oxygens removed. One is going to be removed from this end, one is going to be removed from the other end. So the 2 oxygens are gone. Now I need 4 hydrogens removed. 4, out of which 2 hydrogens I am going to remove from here. So this will become HN, CH2, 6, and NH. Right? This is your n number of such molecules are going to be formed. Right? And this is your nylon 66. Simple chemical reaction, guys. I have to subject it to dehydration. Water molecule has to be removed. I need 2 oxygen atoms to be removed. One is going to be removed from here. One is going to be removed from here. 4 hydrogen atoms. 2 hydrogen atoms removed from here. 2 hydrogen atoms removed from here. So that gives rise to your nylon 66. Fine, do we get this? So do we understand the preparation of nylon 66? Now once we know the preparation, let us see the properties and the uses of nylon 66. We'll see it here only, guys. Properties. What are the properties of nylon 66? It is extremely tough and has a high tensile strength. Right? Second, it is resistant to attack of moth and fungi. Fungi and moth will not attack it. Resistant to attack of moth and fungi. Fine, do we get this thing clear? That's the inherent property of nylon 66. Moth and fungi do not attack it. Right? Then it is resistant to friction. Resistant to friction. Right? It is also resistant to chemicals like acids and base. Next, it is elastic and it has luster. Elastic and luster. It is insoluble in inorganic solvents, but it is soluble in formic acid and phenol. Right? So these are your properties of nylon 66. Where do we use it? Uses. It is used for manufacture of bristles. Your toothbrush bristles are made up of nylon 66. Right? So let's bristles. Right? Then they are also used to make knitted garments. Right? And they are used in the manufacture of ropes, tire cords. Inside the tire you have a layer of rubber. Below that you have those cords. Those are called as tire cords. And fisherman's net. That is nylon 66. Next. The next compound that we are going to see is nylon 6. That's the next compound that we are going to see the preparation of. Now, how do I make nylon 6, guys? The starting compound, the chemical that is required for this starting compound is sigma caprolactam. Right? Now let us see this, guys. Let's see the chemical formula. Now this is nothing but a hexene ring, a benzene ring in which you have an amine group. Basically, what is caprolactam? You need a benzene ring, 6 CH2, 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 right? 5. Now instead of the 6th, you have the 6th in which you have a double bond with oxygen here and you have an amine group here in it. This is your sigma caprolactam. That is the chemical that is going to be used for preparation of nylon 6. Question. So from where will you obtain sigma caprolactam? Right? It is obtained from omega aminocaproic acid. Right? When omega aminocaproic acid is heated, dehydration takes place and that gives rise to sigma caprolactam. Fine, do we get this thing clear? Let's see first. let's see the preparation. Before preparation, let us see from where is caprolactam obtained. You have caproic acid, that is your again CH2, 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 right? This is COOH, NH2. This particular compound is your omega amino because it has NH compound in it, and since it has COOH, that means this is acid, and this is called as caproic acid. It has the amine group, therefore it is amino. Since it has COOH, therefore this is acid. Heat this. If I heat this, I will have water molecule coming out. Once water molecule comes out, that means two hydrogens and one oxygen is going to come out. So that will leave me with CH2, 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 CH2. This part is as it is. Now, I need one oxygen and two hydrogens out. This carbon as it is. This oxygen, this one hydrogen and one hydrogen from the amine group goes. So that leaves me with NH. This is your sigma caprolactam. Right? Now once you have sigma caprolactam, what is the next thing that you have to do? We call this as preparation. Once you have this, you heat it in an inert atmosphere of nitrogen at 533 Kelvin. Heat. This is the first step. Second step, you have CH2, 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 CH2. Right? CNH. Right? That's your sigma caprolactam. Heat this at 533 Kelvin in inert atmosphere of nitrogen. In that case, polymerization would take place. Right? The bonds would break to polymerize to give you a straight chain compound that would be HN. That's your amine group. CO. Right? And balance how much I have? I have 5 C's and 10 H's. So that is CH2 5, but in a straight chain. I would have n number of such molecules, and this is your nylon 6. This is sigma caprolactam. Right? Do we get this thing clear? So that's how nylon 6 is prepared. Properties. What are the properties of this? Again, it is extremely tough and has very high tensile strength. Extremely tough. Next, it is elastic and it has luster. That means it will shine. Luster means it is going to shine. It is resistant to chemicals, acids, bases. This is resistant to chemicals. And the most important property, it is wrinkle proof. So your wrinkle proof trousers that you get, they are made up of nylon 6. So this has that property that it makes it wrinkle proof. Right? It does not wrinkle very easily. Right? In fact, it very rarely wrinkles. It does not wrinkle. Uses. Where do I use this? Right? Again, it is used for manufacture of toothbrush, for the toothbrush bristles, and for your structures of surgery, when you have stitches, what is the thread used? That thread uses nylon 6. Right? Do we get this thing here? So nylon 6 used for bristles of toothbrush. Then it is used as structures for surgery. Then it is used to make knitted garments. And it is also used to make threads, tire cords and fisherman's net. Threads, tire cords and fisherman's net. That is nylon 6. Next, the third compound that we have is terylene. Third compound that we have is terylene. Okay, let's start here only. Right, terylene in layman's language is called as polyester. Common name. Now, what is the compound that you need? Starting compound. What is polyester made up of? It is made up of ethylene glycol and dimethylene terephthalate. Right? Ethylene glycol What is glycol? When you have two alcohol groups attached, then that is called as glycol. Ethylene, that means I need two carbon atoms. So CH2, CH2, that's my ethylene. Glycol means I need two alcohols. This is HO and OH. This is ethylene glycol. Second, the second compound I need is dimethyl terephthalate. Right? Now, this has got a benzene ring. Right? On either side of the benzene ring, you have CH3C, CH3O, CO, acetate group attached, right? So you have an acetate group attached on one side of benzene, you have another acetate group attached on the other side of benzene. This is dimethyl terephthalate, right? How do I prepare this? Preparation. Right? Preparation. Now, terylene is a polyester which is a synthetic fiber. Here you would have the two compounds are heated together in 503 Kelvin in the presence of a catalyst. So you would have ethylene glycol, that is HO, CH2, CH2OH is heated with dimethyl terephthalate, CH3OC, that's your acetate group, benzene ring, acetate group. Right? Now, when this is heated at 503 Kelvin, 503 Kelvin in the presence of a catalyst. This is ethylene glycol, and this is dimethyl terephthalate. Right? In this case, you would have alcohol separating out. So you would have methyl alcohol group, 2 methyl alcohol group coming out. So in that case you will have the reaction. I'm continuing here, guys. So you would have CH2OH, so methyl alcohol, CH3OH. You would have 2 molecules of methyl alcohol coming out. 2 molecules of methyl alcohol coming out. How can we please see this? How methyl alcohol will come out? See this. This methyl group will react with this alcohol group. Similarly, this alcohol is going to react with this methyl, right? So in that case, what will remain? You would have here, I do one thing, I'll write the whole reaction up so that I can show to you properly. You just write the reaction down once again. You have ethylene, CH2, CH2, glycol, right? Ethylene, glycol reacting with acetate group. Acetate group is OC benzene acetate, COOCH3. This is terephthalate, that's your dimethyl terephthalate, right? You will have another, you will need another ethylene glycol. That means you will have OH, O, C, no, you will require alcohol, sorry, ethylene alcohol. So HO, CH2, CH2OH, right? This is ethylene glycol. So you would have alcohol combining with methyl group here. You would have alcohol combining with methyl group here. So in that case, that would leave you with HO, CH2, CH2, O, C, benzene, CO, CH2, CH2OH plus 2 methyl alcohol, right? This is called as, you have a OH here, you have OH here, so di-OH, hydroxy. So this is your dihydroxy. You have ethyl here, you have ethyl here, CH2 is ethyl, so diethyl. This is dihydroxy diethyl, and here you have benzene with the acetate group, so this is going to be terephthalate. So what you get is dihydroxy diethyl terephthalate, right? And this is your methyl alcohol. So that's your first step. The reaction takes place at 503 Kelvin. The reaction takes place at 503 Kelvin in the presence of a catalyst. Right? Now the compound so formed is now subjected to heat. Now when I heat this compound at 573 Kelvin in vacuum, this was the first step. Second step, dihydroxy, HO, CH2, ethyl terephthalate, whether I put oxygen up or down shouldn't make a difference. Benzene ring, CH2OH. This is your dihydroxy diethyl terephthalate. Right? Now I'm going to heat this at 573 Kelvin. 573 Kelvin in vacuum. right? In which case your ethyl group will combine with alcohol and separate out, right? So you will have CH2, and so ethyl group will combine with two alcohols. So OH, n number of such molecules will be formed. So you will have ethylene, two alcohols, therefore glycol. So you will get ethylene glycol, that will be removed, n number of molecules plus. Now once ethylene glycol is removed, so that means from here CH2OH is gone, and from the other side also one CH2OH is gone. So that leaves me with CH2O, C double bond O, benzene ring, C double bond O, CH2. Right? And this is called as pterylene. Fine, do we get this in here? So this is how you make pterylene, or this is how you make polyester. Properties. Properties. It is extremely strong and elastic in nature. Strong and elastic in nature. It is stable at high temperatures. Stable at high temperature. Next, it has resistance to bacteria, acids, alkali and light. So it will not fade very easily. Resistant to bacteria, acids, alkali and action of light, right? And it absorbs very little water and dries quickly. Absorbs very little water and dries quickly. Those are the properties. Uses. Where do I use this? One, it is used in the textile industry, as you all know. Polyester is used in the textile industry. It is used for making blended. It is blended with cotton to make terrycloth and terry wool. Blended with cotton to make terrycloth and terry wool. All your trousers, formal trousers are made up of terrycloths and terry wools. Your blazers are made up of terrycloths and terry wools. And it is used for making fishermen's nets. Right? Right. This finishes this chapter. We stop this here for the day. Thank you very much.